In this video, I'm going to be going over this keyword changes tool in SEO workflows. Before I jump into how to use the tool, here's a quick overview of the output you should be expecting. So when you get the output, you get a few different tabs. You see page data, keywords, subfolder data, keywords, merge data, and page data for estimated traffic. When you look at these different keywords tabs, you'll see the page URL, and then you'll see top 3, top 10, top 20, current versus prior, and the change. I'll explain this more in a minute, but the current versus prior simply depends on what data sets you actually add into the tool. Again, I'll go over that in a moment, but you can see this very effectively shows you, where changes are occurring depending on the two different time frames you're using. This also shows you subfolders, so it'll split all those URLs by subfolder, and again, it will show those same metrics for top 3, top 10, top 20, current versus prior, with the change and the count of URLs that exist within each of those buckets. You see the merged data set. So this is really just the source data. If you, for example, saw a page, let's say this page right here, was seeing some declines or growth, whatever it is, right? And you want to figure out, what's going on there in more detail, we could just add that URL to here and we could see all of the individual query level data with, again, the position current, position prior, traffic current prior, et cetera, et cetera. And lastly, we have the page level estimated traffic data. So for this one, we see the page, the total volume for this period versus prior period, the change in total volume, and then the estimated traffic. The reason you see total volume there is that sometimes estimated traffic is actually very influenced by the search volumes that SEMRush is using within their database. And if those search volumes change, you might see drastic swings in estimated traffic, even though rankings have not changed. And you see the top keyword. This is based on estimated traffic for this period. And you see what is happening for this period versus prior period. So I know that was a very brief overview, but hopefully you can see how you can effectively analyze keyword changes. It's actually at the page level, just because changes you're making to the website and impact areas are really happening at the page level, but you could drill down to the keywords that are really making up those pages, again, within this merged data set, to understand what's going on in more detail. With all that in mind, I'm not sure if I mentioned this yet, but this tool does require having access to SEMRush. Within SEMRush, what you would actually do is that you come into a data set you want, and you would download this period, whatever you want for this period. Let's just say it's September 2023. You're going to download that right there. And a prior period. I did not mean to click that, but hopefully this doesn't make my computer go too slow. There we go. I'm going to use July 2023. Why I'm going to do that is because I'm theoretically thinking that this might be to analyze the August core algorithm update. And if I do want to analyze the impacts of a core algorithm update that happened in August, I want to be looking at this current month, which is September, in comparison to the month prior to the update rather than the month of the update, just because some things are probably still in flux during the time of August. And I want to be looking at, prior to the update ever starting versus after the update ended. So that should be downloading now. When you come into here, a few different things. So number one, you can put in brand variants. You can put in as many as you want. You could maybe put in my last name. We could put in, I don't know, let's put in Demi, who's the CEO. Whatever you think that a brand variance might be. This is optional, but if you want to, for example, exclude any keywords that, as it says in the tooltip right there, has less than 100 search volume, or really whatever you want there, you can put that in here. This is really effective if the website you're analyzing has a lot of very large keywords and you don't really care about some of those smaller keywords that are only 10 to 100 search volume, then you might want to use this. But for this purposes, I will just omit that for the time being. I will come into here, go to my downloads, and looks like the second data set hasn't downloaded, but we got the September one, and then not sure why this never downloaded, but let's try clicking that one more time. Perfect. I'll be able to put that in right here. You can see at the top here, it takes on average about 12 seconds to run this. The difference in how much time it takes is really going to depend on how large the data sets are that you are using. And I'll put it in the prior period. So we got current period, prior period. This is going to be September 2023 versus July 2023. Why is that? Because those are the date range I pulled from SEMRush. That's all that makes up this period versus prior period is whatever you pulled out of SEMRush. I could have done month over month. Obviously, I'm doing this month versus 2 months prior. I could do year over year, whatever you really want. It's completely up to you. You press start. It will take a few seconds to run here and we'll be all set. The data set will look exactly like this right here, except for a different website, of course. And you'll see the downloads and we can open that up. From that point on, you can just go ahead and start analyzing the data set. There's obviously a lot of different ways you can analyze it, but I just gave some tips at the beginning of this video. I think that's it for the time being. Of course, feel free to reach out if you have any questions. And yeah, I think that's about it. Thank you.